Hello, welcome to Tamara today. Hey, I just wanted to talk to you about loving yourself, falling in love with yourself. Um, I really think that is the key for attracting love. And a little bit about my story. So, for a long time, um, many years, was not happy with the relationships that I was attracting into my life. And so we're always attracting. So you can just look at your life, what's going on now, because it's a result of the choices you've made in the past. So for me, it took me many years. Well, that doesn't even matter. But it wasn't until I was in my 40s that I did attract the relationship that I desired. And during that time, I was seeking. I was seeking for something outside of myself. And what what turned things around for me was actually, it was a time where I was focusing on my career. Actually, I was focusing on the kind of work that I wanted to do in the world. And during this time, I was also reading a book called The Science of Getting Rich. I actually have it right here. This book, I believe it was published in 1910, and so I was reading this book at the time. I was focusing on making this career transition, and so I was doing. There were a lot of practices that I was doing that were or that are wonderful practices, right? Gratitude. We were also doing things in this business training group that I was in. I remember there was some kind of 30-day challenge, and we had these worksheets, and on it, there was space for gratitude. There was space to write something that you were grateful for every day. So I consider that a gratitude practice. Focusing on gratitude, which is so good. So good. So it was through these practices of creative visualization, imagining the things that I would like to have in my life, gratitude, right? That's also in the Science of Getting Rich. Wallace D. Waddles, the author, right? He talks about that the importance of having gratitude, and I believe that gratitude really magnetizes you to attract love. So for me, it was being in this really, really doing things for myself, like choosing for me, probably for the first time in a really long time. I remember as being for that business group, this business training group that I joined. There was it's called Thrive Academy, and there was an event. It was a live event in California, and so I really wanted to go. And I decided to do it, even though I really, I have a daughter. I'm a single mom, and I just really hadn't done anything like that, to get a plane ticket and fly to California for this event. But that, looking back on it, I can see, yes, like I was choosing for myself. I was focusing on myself, and just, as because as women, it's not uncommon for us women to be a lot of times focusing on other people and taking care of other people. And yeah, it's not uncommon for us as women to, like, not to put ourselves first. So or so I realized I was using a lot of double negatives there. It's uh yeah, it's fairly common, I would say. At least with the women that I know in my life, it's fairly common that I see a lot of women who are putting other people's needs ahead of their own. So yeah, so it was this period where I was focusing on myself, decided to go ahead and, take the plunge and get this plane ticket to fly to California for this event. That was just doing something just for me. Uh, and that was great because that business training group, that Thrive Academy, they they just had like so many wonderful practices in that training. Taking care of yourself was a big part of it, self-care, and making the time for that. The gratitude practice, and then as I was reading that Science of Getting Rich, um, thinking of, okay, what would I like to have? What things, would I like to have, and like visualizing that and believing that those things are coming to me. So, uh, this, okay, so I joined that. I went to that event. It was called the Client Attraction Summit. I went to that event in September of 2019, I believe, 2019. And there was a an exercise that we had to do where we were paired up, and you had to pretend that you were meeting your partner a year from now, and or a year from then you were going to meet your partner, and just act like, oh, you're meeting them for the first time after that year, and you're going to tell them about what's going on in your life. And just so I'll tell you what I said. But this partner that I was with, this guy was amazing. His name was Jonathan, and he was just a light worker. And he, when I, when it was his turn, to talk and say, like what had been going on with him, all I remember him saying was, I'm just being the light. I'm being the light. And I remember at the time, I didn't get it. Like, I was like, this guy, he's not being specific. He's not saying anything. He's just saying he's being the light. But I may just like have another video where I'm talking about that. Because now that I think about it, like, wow, like just to I'll definitely have another video where I'm just gonna like talk about being, like just being, and just being the light, because that was friggin' awesome. So okay, so now I just want to tell you what I said. I remember, talking about the whatever I envisioned myself. I was like talking about my business and how great my business was going. And then in the end, I snuck in there at the end, and I just got engaged. Like, wow. Okay, so that's just something that came up for me then. And anyways, I I started using the principles in The Science of Getting Rich, because that book is all about just doing things, really thinking. It's about the way that you think, thinking in a certain way, and then from your thoughts, then your actions are going to be a result of your thoughts. But thinking in a certain way, doing things in a certain way to draw wealth to you, to draw riches to you, to draw money to you. So I was like, wow, this is cool. These are like new thought principles. Basically, the idea that you can just you have the authority here to manifest what you would like, what you desire. And so was just using those principles, I said, well, since I'm using this to draw wealth to me, I can use it to draw love to me, to like, if I desire a relationship, I can use these same principles. Um, so that's what I started doing. And I also decided to, like, I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on on my coaching, because mention this, but I'll mention it now. So the business development was like a health coaching. I had just gotten my health coaching certification, so that's what I was getting the training for, like how to, how to get clients, how to promote myself as a health coach, and we were encouraged to have a niche. So that's what I chose. Like I was like, okay, I know what I want to do. I'm gonna be a love coach, and I'm gonna be my first client, and so I did. I was doing these practices, right? Having the gratitude practice, and I like continued my gratitude practice that was started in that business training group, um, and gratitude is also like also there's a whole chapter in the science of getting rich on gratitude. I continued doing those gratitude practices, my creative visualizations. There's lots of resources out there as well. Lots of strategies and tools that you can use, but basically just like keeping my mind right. Like basically just having that focus of what I desire to show up for me in my life, and I was focused, like just on really more focusing on myself a lot more than I had been in a long time. And I did get to the point where I I got to this point of not like not even desiring a relationship, okay? Because like I won't say it wasn't about not desiring a relationship. It was just that I got to this point, and this was all during COVID. All during COVID, actually, 2020. Um, I got to this point of just like feeling so good. And I just felt so complete. Like I felt so whole. I felt like I didn't need anything else. Like there was no need. There was just this happiness, um, joy. It was this wholeness. It was an energy that was it was really different. And I would the closest thing I would could say about it is that that energy, it like reminded me of the energy that I had from childhood, before I even started like thinking about boys, or it was just like this. I just felt so complete and so whole. um and so so recognizing this, I was like, wow. um I I did there was a practice that I did, because one of the things that I would talk about with my as part of my love coaching practice was that sometimes a person might be in like ambivalence. When you're ambivalent about something, it's like that's when you desire something, but then you have like a conflicting um view about it. So it's like you're like I think people do this with money a lot, where it's like, yeah, like, oh, I do want to have a lot of money. Like, oh, wouldn't that be great? I would love to have a lot of money. But then maybe they have a conflicting view, like, oh, actually, like, I don't know, like people with a lot of money, they're like, I don't know, they're like snobs, or like or like money, having too much money, that's, that can turn you into a bad person, or something like that. When there's this like conflicting view, that's an ambivalence, and that can that can be an obstacle for you, um, drawing that thing to you, or manifesting that, or like having that, whatever it is in your life, if you're kind of ambivalent about it. So okay, so I was feeling so like so good, so whole, and just like complete in myself, and I was like, I'm feeling so good, but so like I'm not even like, I really don't care about having a relationship. I'm just like, I feel so good. And so I was like, but is it ambivalence? I was like wondered. I was like, okay, just just to make sure it's not ambivalence, I'm going to do one of the practices. This particular practice um was out of a book that I had. It was called Calling in the One. And I don't remember the author's name off the top of my head right now, but one of the things that she recommended doing was writing a love letter to yourself, like imagining the love of your life writing you a love letter. So so that's what I did. I wrote myself this love letter, and it was just like so over the top. And the next day, the this man who was in my that I had been on the Zoom calls with for in this training group. Basically, we were both in the training academy, and um, once COVID hit and we weren't allowed to like meet, have the live events that that training academy, that Thrive Training Academy wasn't having their live events anymore because of COVID. They switched to online events. So and like there was just like a lot of people, I think probably a lot more people attending the Zooms, the online events, because it was COVID. Like what else are you going to do anyway? So so this lovely man that we had been in the training groups together, actually we have been on the team, and he actually picked me to be on his team. So we were, for had spent plenty of time together on Zoom. So he contacted me, and like that's yeah. I was like, wow. I was just like totally blown away. Um, so that's to say, and that's I so we are still in a relationship now. That's how we met. And the point is, what I want to share with you is that it was me just there were practices that I was doing, and really I if you would have like asked me if before before I got to that point, so that point before I I wrote that letter to myself, um where I was just like, wow, just like feeling so complete. And I didn't even know that was possible for me. It was just like so off of my radar. Like I just because I had for so long had known that energy of wanting a relationship, like desiring a relationship, like that need, that desire, that like that or even if it wasn't a need, or even if I would say no, it's not a need, it's just something that I would like to have. I would like to have a relationship, but it was that it was like that sense of striving for it, or um I wouldn't have thought that I could not have that energy of desiring it, that I could get to the point where I was just feeling so whole and so complete in myself, that I was just okay. I was just okay being me, and it's like, cool. I'm happy to be me, happy to just happy with my life. And if somebody shows up and wants to share it with me, and wants to hang around me and be with me, cool. If not, I'm still happy. Just That's just a little bit about my story. So I just I encourage you to just I'm gonna share the practices and things that I think can help you so that you are just loving yourself so much and having gratitude for you, just being grateful for you, doing just like investing in yourself